Good morning, everybody. I'm on my way to another location at the Wekiva Basin, and I'll bring you footage of the area that I'm going to go into. We'll look around and see if I can't find what it is that I'm looking for. It's March 15th. Right now it's 7:30 in the morning. I got out of the house early to get here. However, I just wanted to share the moon with you. Look at that moon today. That is amazing. Welcome to True Nature. I'd like to ask you if you wouldn't mind hitting like, commenting, and subscribing to this station so I can keep coming in the woods and bringing you more footage of what I believe possibly exists, because I'm on the trail of the Florida skunk ape. I'm at the Wekiva Basin, and I will be going into part of the swamps here and checking out the surrounding areas, looking in the mud for tracks, looking on the trails for tracks. Hopefully I'll find something. So I want to talk about something that I produced. We got it offline. It's about a chimpanzee. It's actually a human Z, and same as Oliver. It happened in the 1920s, and apparently a Russian scientist says that he created it, and there's been a lot of controversy, and that kind of information is coming back around again. So where I'm trying to go with this is the possibility of having somebody maybe have created these beings, these humans that are hairy, these hominids, these cryptids, whatever. It says, scientist claims U.S. lab engineered human Z, human chimp hybrid 100 years ago. Oliver was his name, and this article is out of Wikipedia. A prominent U.S. scientist has claimed researchers in Florida succeeded in breeding a human-chimp hybrid called a human Z in controversial, long-rumored 1920s research. Evolutionary psychologist Gordon G. Gallup Jr., who achieved renown for his pioneering mirror self-recognition experiments with animals in the 1970s, says a former university professor told him the hybrid creature was born at an animal research laboratory where he once worked. One of the most interesting cases involved an attempt which was made back in the 1920s in what was the first primate research center established in the U.S. in Orange Park, Florida, Gallup told The Sun. They inseminated a female chimpanzee with human semen from an undisclosed donor and claimed not only that the pregnancy occurred, but the pregnancy went full term and resulted in a live birth. There is little reason to think such an experiment successfully took place, and plenty of reasons to believe it didn't, but having an otherwise respected researcher make such a statement is drawing attention to this old rumor once again. Despite the significance of this purported breakthrough, Gallup, now a researcher at the University of Albany, says dictates of conscience over the human Z experiment didn't take long to catch up with the scientists involved. In the matter of days or a few weeks, they began to consider the moral and ethical considerations, and the infant was euthanized, Gallup told The Sun, adding that the unidentified mentor who confided in him attested to the veracity of the controversial saga. He told me the rumor was true, and he was a credible scientist in his own right.
Well, here I am at the Wakaiba Basin, getting close, but I noticed in the mud here a panther track. So we have them here in Central Florida. They can't tell me any differently. So I had this story that was down in the Florida Everglades, and a young man, about 17, 18 years old, decided to go for a jog on a trail that was a hiking trail, and it was a 20-mile long trail. He couldn't get his buddies to go. I guess they all had things or plans they were going to do for the weekend. So he decides to go for a run on his own, and he starts jogging down the trail, and it gets to a point where he gets tired, so he has a hammock, and part of the plan was run half the trail and put up the hammock and then run the other part of the trail. So he gets to that point where he rests and he gets in for the night, and he decides to put his hammock up and put his backpack up. He had some snacks or some food in there. Well, early in the morning he hears something, and he wasn't quite sure what it was, but it was going through his backpack, and he could barely see. Barely visible, but he could still see. He sees a silhouette of something, and he doesn't know what it is until he gets a better look at it. And once he does, then he realizes what it was. And from that point on, it chased him down the trail, and there was more than one. Apparently there was like 3 of them or more, and he said they were taunting him as he was running down the trail to get away from them. I guess apparently after he grabbed his backpack, I think he said he left something behind as he grabbed his backpack. He didn't take his hammock, whatever, and decided to just run from these things as fast as he could. As he's running, he said one of them decided to track him on the side of the trail. It was running through the trail. Another one, he said, caught up to him and with ease was running right beside him like it was nothing. This young man's speed was nothing. He thought he was a fast sprinter. And the other one was on the trail further down, and it apparently took a crap right in front of him, and it stopped him from running. But he did, however, go around it, and he kept running, and they just kept chasing him throughout the rest of the 10 miles. It kept tracking him until he was out of the woods, and he ran up to a parking area is where it ended. And he ran up to the couple of guys there, and he was frantic, and he ran up and he started crying. He fell down. They called a highway patrolman. Highway patrolman came, started talking to him, took him to the hospital. His parents showed up at the hospital saying he must be on drugs or something, because he was babbling about these creatures that had chased him through the woods all the way near the parking lot. So I don't know what it is with these things. You hear these stories where they walk beside you in the woods, they chase you out of the woods, and that's kind of indicative of what they are. I don't know if they're curious. I don't know what the deal is with them. So I'm at that location I was telling you guys. I found the 15-inch track, and back then I only found one track, and was wondering why it would have been that I only found one track. And it's possible that when it stepped there and there smartly into the tire track area, and then it took one step and I found it in there. But back in this time, it must have rained a little bit more, because there was a little more of a muddiness here. This is the area that has a river that's out here and it's in the middle of these trees, and it runs that way. And this swamp goes all the way back to the area I was just pointing out to you. And it's possible that it follows along this water trail right here, and that it crosses over to the side. Well, apparently I'm not going to be able to go too much further on this side. I think I'm going to have to put my water boots on and get in here. Still looking around through here. So far, no tracks. And if there were something living in here, well, you have to excuse the airplanes, jet planes. There's an airport in Orlando. They're flying over that or Sanford. I haven't seen anything yet, and this is pretty remote. I'll just keep looking. Hopefully something will pop up. I'd say this is the ideal habitat right here. I think that this stream will go to another road that parallels the road I was just on. Maybe that way I can get on that dirt road, let these water boots dry out for a little bit, and go to my next destination. Well, this is the way I'm spending my Saturday evening, on the hunt for Florida skunk ape, on the trail of the Florida skunk ape, just looking through the woods. I didn't expect all this to be flooded in here, however, which it is. I'm kind of shocked. I thought it was a dry part of the road. I took a wrong turn, actually, and so this is where I ended up. I think if it gets too much more water, thicker, I'm gonna have to turn around. Oh my gosh, I think it's getting deeper up here. I cannot remember this being this wet ever in here. I guess the water stayed after our torrential rain we had a while back. It seems to have remained. This used to be passable by foot. It's dark now at 8:30. Give me a little bit of time. Get back out, turn around, and go the other direction. Hopefully there's a way out up here. That would be nice. Get that. I did smell something back there. Smelled kind of rank. But I say that every time I come out. But it's true. There was something that stunk. Wow, these are pretty heavy woods right here. I'm hoping I get up around the corner and I'm approaching a dirt road. That would be nice. One that's solid dirt, not water. Anyway, turn your back on when I get a chance.